height would you put distance-wise the overheads?
It varies. It honestly varied depending on what I could get away with, what the band liked. It would depend on the room I was in, depending on the kit, depending on how high the guy had the cymbals. Because some guys I would record would have the cymbals super low to everything, and it would screw up my whole image. But they would have it real low, and other dudes would play like Tommy Lee. So their arms were doing this, and they would hit cymbals like up here. And then the cymbals are like 4 feet above the kit, which is ridiculous. So then your overheads are way above the kit. And then you get all this room leakage, but they want a tight sound, and you're like, but your cymbals are 4 feet above the kit, and you know, it varied, honestly. It varied. You never knew what you were going to get into, honestly. Yeah, and I mean, it always varied, let's put it that way. No matter how you thought you were going to try something, you inevitably go out and move the microphones, and that's the biggest thing. Listen, listen, listen. Go out and put headphones on and move the mic and listen as you're moving it. You know, it's one thing to visually eye something up and place something how you think it's going to sound right, and until the drummer sits down and starts playing, but you have to go and start moving things. You just can't. I mean, here we placed it without hearing it because we couldn't really listen. We're not set up that way. But you have to go out in the room, and if you think those cymbals aren't working, let the drummer play, put a pair of headphones on, hopefully you're not going to blow your ears out, and drop the overheads while he's playing and see what it sounds like in your headphones, you know, or have the assistant go out there and play for you or whatever. There's the only way you can do it is if you listen. Yeah, so. And moving overhead mics down an inch makes a huge difference in sound, a huge difference. And the phasing and all how it interrelates to all the other microphones and stuff like that. So I wish I had a good answer for you, but I don't.
Well, no,
and some people bottom mic the toms. I never needed to go that far, but if you can bottom mic, top mic a tom, and bottom mic a tom, and then you have to flip it out of phase. Some people did all that. I never did, but that's just me, personally. So I always hated recording metal drums personally.
Trust me.
Drums are my favorite thing to record.
My own drums.
Metal drums were my least favorite thing to record because they didn't want it to sound like, to me, an acoustic instrument. They wanted it to sound like a little bit more of a processed thing, and they're acoustic instruments. They're drums, and I like recording a big organic drum sound that sounds like one big instrument, and it had to be very individualized instruments. And to me, it does like a drum kit, but I'm not a drummer, so that's all I know. Anyways, they were my least favorite things to record, was metal drums.
It's gotten a lot better. And players' consistency has gotten a lot better. So a lot more guys are miking, and then they take the mic sounds and use that as a trigger live.
Exactly.
So it's the natural sound of the drum, but the clarity of a trigger through all that bass and distortion that's on the stage.
And I don't think I could bother with triggers because there's a lot of, I mean, it's a lot of patience. I don't think I have it. But
No.
people, all the drum replacement programs and triggers, and it's just like, just record it right the first time.
Modules,
you don't have to trigger anything. Yeah, but whatever. It's a different story. Any other questions? Questions on what we got?
Last chance.
You know what? We kind of briefly talked about pop filters, and I'll mention it real quick for you. Pop filters do make a difference, and these are from Neumann. Not that you have to buy a Neumann pop filter. I don't know what they cost. They're 2 layers of mesh. We don't make metal pop filters. You guys have seen the metal ones probably. I'm not a big fan of the metal pop filters. I'll say that politely, frankly. People use them and like them, and I don't like them at all. Anytime you use a pop filter, it immediately changes the sound of whatever you're recording. So we immediately cut your high end down by putting this in front of you. You're putting something in front of the sound source, it takes your high end down. If you could really hear accurately, you would be able to hear that. You sing, and you sing, and you sing, and you would hear the difference. You can probably hear it just by me doing this. Your high end is affected. If you can get away with recording a singer without using pop filter, do it. And I have never recorded you before, so I didn't know if you do all the plosives or not. So I put it up in front of you. If I can do a singer without a pop filter, I will, because then you don't have anything masking the voice. Sometimes you have to use a pop filter, you got no choice. Use a pop filter that's got hopefully two filters with some air in between. It reduces the plosives the most. And you can test pop filters by blowing through them and seeing if you feel it. Put a lighter up. Not that I condone smoking, by the way. Put a lighter up and blow through it. And see if you can blow the lighter out or blow a match out. Put the same thing up with a metal one. You see what I'm talking about. So the least amount of stuff you can have between you and the microphone, the best. But sometimes you have to have this. And sometimes it's as simple as angling a microphone too. You know, and if you can really hear, you know, you got no choice but to have, I'm not saying this is good or bad, and I have pop filters in my house that are nothing more than pantyhose stretched over a hanger.
That was my first pop filter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And sometimes you got no choice. Those are your pop filters. And if you really are having a problem with that pop filter and it's masking what you're trying to record, move the angle of the microphone. Move it 15 degrees. As soon as you get the capsule of the mic off axis, whether it's up or down, off axis, you're not going directly into it. You've just eliminated the sound, which is cool. So that can help a lot. These are a little bit different. These are kind of made to be directly on axis for handheld. There's a pop filter already built in, so you don't need that. It's kind of already in there. These, however, studio mics though, and ribbon mics are famous for this. Ribbon microphones, if you ever get an old ribbon mic off eBay or Craigslist or something, do not blow or sing directly. As soon as you blow directly in a ribbon mic, it blows your ribbon out, and you just destroy your ribbon. New ribbon mics are not like that. The lawyers and stuff, they're a lot more durable. They don't keep outside in the wind. It's not going to blow it out. But in that same regard, if you put a mic about 15 degrees off axis and sing into it, it eliminates direct air into the capsule and all that is gone. Now, you've also tilted it away from your sound source, so the sound's going to change a little bit, but it's not going to be drastically changed. So this, doing it that way is better than this, then do it that way. So it's cool. The other thing you can do is pencil strip. If you get pops, and you don't want to use a pop filter, tape the pencil. This shock mount here, that's not in front of you. But tape a pencil to the shock mount or a pen directly in front of the capsule. And it basically is enough to make the air go this way, in front of the capsule. Which is kind of cool. It won't affect the sound. And it's a fun trick. You can do it as a test. Have two of the same microphones and have one with the pencil, one with the pop filter, and see what it sounds like. See if it's enough of a difference. Or angle one and have one straight with the pencil, or whatever. It's
Right.
kind of cool. So
Tuesday.
Next Monarchy's meeting.
there you go. Vocal tricks. Vocal tricks 101. So the other thing I like to do, which we didn't do in here, is record vocals in omnidirectional. So we were doing everything in pretty much in cardioid, or in this case, super cardioid. Picking it up in the front, dead in the back, for the most part. What I like the most natural sounding microphone is a microphone in Omni that picks up, completely around it. If you have a good sounding room and a good singer, if you record a vocal in Omni, it's going to sound like a natural vocal. It's awesome. So if you're trying to do vocal takes with somebody and it's just not working, and that microphone's not working, but you don't have another choice, or a couple of mics you used that they don't work, but one of the mics you has can be flipped to Omni, flip it to Omni, it could make a world of difference.